Hello, everyone inside the Little Apple. I'm Blake Neiman here with Chris Cartman for the Devil Source Postgame Show following Arizona State's 24-14 gutsy road win over the Kansas State Wildcats, now improving to 8-2, an astonishing win total for Arizona State this season, continuing their rebuild process. 5-2 now in Big 12 play, which keeps them alive for the conference title chase in their first year in the conference. Remarkable victory for Arizona State. Chris got out to an early dominant 21-0 lead, and they kept on rolling, gutted it out in the second half, and ended up coming out with the win.
They just keep rolling. There's something special about this group, this team. They believe in themselves at a very high level, and they were the better team, like flat out. They outclassed Kansas State. The Wildcats made a ton of errors, of course, but if you just look at it, the best players on the field were ASU's players. Cam Scaddy didn't even have that big of a night. He had some really impressive plays, but between Jordan Tyson, Sam Levitt, and Cam Scaddy, ASU had the best players. Giddens had some good runs in the second half. Third quarter, he got loose a little bit, but ASU's run defense was very successful in the first half. They capitalized on their turnovers, 2 touchdowns off turnovers in the first half. Kansas State completely out of sorts. Had a bye week, so you're thinking, okay, they're going to come in with a more focused game plan, be ready to put something together on the field. And it was almost like the opposite happened. They looked like they were out of sorts, out of rhythm. And ASU had like battle tested, ready to come into this game and take it to them, and that's what happened.
There's been a lot that's changed in this program from 2023 to 2024, but one of the key things has been the turnover ratio and ASU being able to force turnovers. They came right out the gate. Xavier Alford gets the interception off the tip by Shamari Simmons. ASU comes down. Sam Levitt connects with Jordan Tyson. He did that twice tonight, and then the ASU was in rhythm from there, forcing a fumble, setting up another touchdown score, making the difference in the game.
Listen, people who subscribe to Sun Devil Source know that we talked before the season started about this safety group being very special. And between those guys that you mentioned and then Miles Rouser, who's leading the team in tackles, they are killing it in the Big 12. They are the best safety trio in the conference. If you include the nickel position as part of that group, one of the best in the country. They showed it with big plays, the game clincher in the end zone, another interception to seal the game. They've played really physically coming up against the run. Alford is one of their better players. So is Shamari Simmons. So is Miles Rouser. The run defense of ASU in that first half was stifling. The CJ Fight was playing in the backfield. Caleb McCullough was playing in the backfield. Jordan Crook is a very good player against the run. And then, as we said, that connection between Sam Levitt and Jordan Tyson, it's as good as any in the conference right now already. Redshirt sophomore and a redshirt freshman. Dillingham talked after the game. He said, it's not about me, it's about the players that we have. And Sam Levitt's a Sunday player. And then you have Jordan Tyson, who's one of the best wide receivers in the conference, if not in the country right now already. This is a guy who took really almost 2 years to come back from a very serious knee injury. But we were saying in the spring, this looks like maybe ASU's best player, right? And now, the ASU was so dominant on third downs in this game because of its ability to get the ball to Jordan Tyson in the passing game. He had that F wheel route, his first touchdown in the corner of the end zone behind us. Then he has the bomb touchdown where his snatching hands get up for that ball with 1 foot in the back of the end zone. He said he didn't even think that he converted that into a touchdown. He didn't believe it. Like asking the refs, was that true? Sam Levitt, great balls, scrambling. Like Avery Johnson was compared by Brian Ward going into this game to Lamar Jackson, okay? And Sam Levitt was the more athletic, better scrambling quarterback in this game. Pass pro has been good for ASU throughout the season. This game, there were a little bit shakier spots, but Kansas State brought a lot of blitz pressure to try to force the action, get the ball out of Levitt's hands. He found receivers on the move multiple times. The amount that he has improved from game 1 to game 10, phenomenal improvement. And I've been saying, like, when we watch these guys practice, they're getting better and better and better throughout a season. That didn't happen last season. This will be one of the most memorable seasons of ASU football in my career covering this team.
It's quite a turnaround from where this team was at 3-9 last year, and now on the brink of improving to 9-2 with a big game coming up against BYU. We'll dive in that in just a little bit, but
don't get ahead of yourself.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
yeah, a chance.
A chance. Yeah,
yes.
Top 10 team is going to be very difficult. But ASU on third down, that's been an issue for them at points this season. But converting 9 of 15 of those in this game kept the chains moving along. It seemed like the offense continually is in rhythm throughout the night, throughout a couple of points early in the second half.
And they got off the field in the first half on third downs defensively, which has been one of their biggest issues. I thought they had a very good game plan, both sides of the ball. A lot of great play calls between Marcus Arroyo, Brian Ward. They had a great approach. I think their game plan was great. There were some moments in the second half they didn't execute, but the ability for Sam Levitt on third downs to find Jordan Tyson or Cam Scadaboo or whoever is fantastic. I mean, there were even some plays that ASU left out on the field. This game would have been a blowout if not for Jordan Tyson's fumble, which was immediately followed by the first long touchdown drive that Kansas State had, right? I think the game would have, I think the fans would have all left when that kind of happened. That kind of brought a little bit of energy to the people who remained in this game. And that kind of kept, a chance for Kansas State through the fourth quarter. Can't really find too much to be critical about for Jordan Tyson, even though he needs to have better ball security in that situation because of just how dominant that he was in this game. There's just something, again, I keep going back to it, man. Like, there's just something about these guys where they it's almost like they understand the areas that they can improve on. And they're very focused on that. They're not comfortable or resting on their laurels with the success that they had. They want more. They are continuing to try to get better. And Dillingham said that they were very quiet before this game, which was different than prior games. Yeah. And he said, I didn't know whether that was, he's still learning about them in these types of big moments. And he said, I didn't know if that was a good sign or a bad sign, but that was a good sign. These guys were focused.
They were locked in.
And they came in and they took it to this team.
Looking at, we keep just, dissecting last year to this year, but it's just such a large jump. Looking at the depth of this team and being able to play in November on the road in a place like Manhattan against a team that has the same record as you, very solid, that couldn't have been possible a year ago. And now here they are.
Well, they're getting better within the season because they're able to practice really hard. But then also see how many guys that they substitute on and off the field defensively. Yeah. Their linebackers cycling, their defensive line cycling. That's another thing we told our members about was how much depth that existed on this team with their defensive line, with their linebacker group. And then even you have really talented safeties that can't get on the field, like Kamari Wilson or Montana Warren. They're really great players, right? Cole Martin got hurt, not even able to play out there. LT Welch has been a great corner coming off the bench in recent games, and he's not even out there playing that much. And that's also just not to get people too excited, but most of the team has remaining eligibility. Okay, yeah, Cam Scadaboo's a senior, and they have some other key guys who are going to be gone after this season. They'll have to replace some of those guys in the portal, right? Like Lee Faltanu is a senior, Ben Coleman, those guys are really good up front. Scadaboo and Shamari Simmons and a couple others. But the reality is that why wouldn't you want to come play for ASU right now if you're in the transfer portal? Those are FCS players, Scadaboo, Shamari Simmons, some of these guys that they group of 5 players from UNLV, Lee Faltanu, they're scouting, their evaluations, their ability to find the right guys that fit what they're trying to do system-wise, schematically, and now they've turned the corner. Like, people understand, like, you're going to probably be able to maximize your opportunity and create the most value possible for you to play beyond your senior season or whatever. So I feel like they have a great opportunity to fill gaps. Are you not going to want to play as a receiver or a tight end or an offensive lineman with Sam Levitt and Jordan Tyson? I think you probably would like that. I think you would probably like to play in Brian Ward's scheme if you're a pass rusher or you're, somebody on the back end of the defense. And so what happens, I think, what should happen anyways, is the success begets more success. And this season is still very much, right, ASU could win 9 games, 10 games. Insane when you think about it, right? But it's there in front of them. And the ASU's move to the Big 12, I said this also before the season, the ASU's move to the Big 12 is one of the best things that probably could have ever happened to this program, because look at how good the Pac-12 was at quarterback. Dillingham said after this game, without a quarterback, I'm nothing. His coach needs a quarterback. He has Sam Levitt, right? But Avery Johnson, Kansas State was ranked 20th, 16th in the CFP. You look at it around the league, Shador Sanders, he's, probably maybe the best quarterback. After that, it's like, yeah, Sam Levitt's as good as anybody, and he's a redshirt freshman. No, not a knock on him, but think about the Heisman Trophy caliber candidates that were in the Pac-12 regularly that ASU went up against at Oregon and Washington and USC, right? And ASU playing in this conference, you're already seeing that isn't the case. And so ASU has a chance to cement itself at or near the very top of this conference for a long time. Like, that is possible now. And so ASU fans, you should feel very fired up about what's going on in Tempe under Kenny Dillingham.
And they're still in the title chase. 2 games left on the schedule, vastly different opponents, with top 10 BYU coming up next weekend at home in Tempe.
Big
top
time.
10 opponent. It's it's one of the bigger games in, this decade for Arizona State football.
It's the biggest home game late in a season, probably since the Todd Graham back-to-back 10-win seasons in 2013 and 2014. In my opinion, it's probably that big.
Monumental game coming up in Tempe next Saturday, but that's all we got here from Manhattan. Sun Devils come away with the victory over K-State 24-14. The final score, they are 8-2, folks. Astonishing, and they'll take on BYU at home next week. For Chris Cartman, I'm Blake Neiman saying so long from the Little Apple.